What's up, guys? Welcome back. Sorry for the kind of long break we had there of like a month or so. Been busy with school and traveling for Clash Royale and everything, but trying to get back into the groove and bringing you guys a giant double minion deck guide today. So you can do Fireball Log or Fireball Zap, or you can take out Log and put in Goblin Gang. Or you can do Poison. So that with Poison, the matchups that become better are you're better against Graveyard because you can poison graveyards, and you are better against decks that have Night Witch in them. So Golem usually in the mirror match, and then Fireball makes you better against, I'd say, Hog, because you can Fireball the pushes, and it makes you obviously better against 3 Musketeers. But I like this variation. So this is the one I used to get a 12 win. Let's go ahead and hop into this. Checking it out. And 11 tornadoes. Not okay, but we'll get into the replays. So I actually have been practicing Expo before this, so I finished off the majority of the challenge with Giant, and my 2 losses were, I played awful that match, this one. But the second one, kind of a hard counter. Kind of a tough matchup. I probably could have won if I played a little bit better, but I may bring a deck guide on this Expo deck, but it'll be a little while because I need to practice it more, because like it's what I've been practicing recently. I got a 10 win, a 9 win, and a 10 win with the Expo deck, but 12 with this giant deck. It's been one I've used for a while, and then I got an 11 with something else before that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into the replays. So, oh yeah, and then I drew my teammate. Let's start it off. I think you should beat decks like this pretty easily. I think you just try to, if you know they don't have like an Inferno Tower, try to start a giant at the back and then build up a push. Against Spellbait, when they have either Tesla or Tornado, I find it's better to not use the giant. I find it's better just to play around the mounter. You can start the giant at the back sometimes late in double elixir, but then focus more on getting minor damage. And then obviously defending, but you have 3 spells, so Spellbait's not too hard. Let's go ahead and get in this 3 Must deck. Okay, so generally I'd say this version, since this version is like Fireball Bait, this is one of the harder versions of 3 Must to beat with this deck. We'll go ahead and get into the replay. I would say I actually got really behind this. Yeah, I did get really behind this game. So typically, okay, so let's go through it. I'm sorry if I'm pausing, but when someone pumps with any deck, your instant reaction should go Giant, Night Witch, or Giant Minions. And then, ideally, you can minor the pump, and they're gonna have to deal with that giant push that they will not be able to defend the minor. Instantly, the pump is down, and you usually end up getting damage. Very good trade for you. Unfortunately, the one way 3 Must can defend this is if you go Night Witch instead of Minions, and then they go Minion Horde, because you can't Fireball. You can Zap, but you end up losing still. And then he has Goblin Gang. So, and if he hadn't had Goblin Gang, then I still get a lot of damage. But that was basically the perfect scenario for him. I didn't have Minor in hand either, so I didn't get Minor for my troubles there. Or I didn't get a Pump for my troubles. So that just kind of happens sometimes. Minion Horde is basically the only thing, after they pump, it's like the only thing that can like perfectly, almost perfectly, for a positive trade and for a counter push defend so well. So I end up getting damage, which is nice, but I am so far behind Elixir because also I shouldn't have put my Miner in the front there. I also don't know why he would put Ice Skull in there. That's like, usually it's not worth it, because if I had put it like farther back, it would have destroyed the pump and the Ice Skull would have been wasted. I guess it kind of blocked the minions, but anyway, I'm really far behind, obviously. Right here, I tried to Fireball Zap everything, and I barely missed the Battle Ram. I was trying to stop the Ram, and then I shouldn't have logged, and then I shouldn't have minored here, because what happens is, even though I get some hits onto the pump, you never want to minor a pump after it's already been up for like 30 seconds or more. You want to save it for his next pump. And the reason I did minor is because I wanted to take advantage of Bats counter pushing, but it's just not worth it. Let him die. Also shouldn't have logged. I should have taken damage. I knew I was behind. I need to try to recoup that damage. And the way you recruit, elixir. The way you recruit elixir after you get behind like that is you take some damage and you don't defend as hard as you could, because then you give yourself an opportunity to punish the next pump and get back even in elixir. And right here, okay, so he split musks. I wait until the last second to fireball 3 musks, because then the tower ends up killing them and I take no damage on that side. And it also allows me to build up a push behind my giant, and it doesn't give him an opportunity to push opposite lane. Right here, I'm putting minions to pull those away since I had already gotten those low. Buying myself time. I almost logged that, but I knew I needed to have elixir for giant. So like there, I took damage so that I could build up a counter push, and then I went hard on the left side. I'm not going to fireball the 2 musks right away. I'm going to commit to the push, and then... So, oh yeah, and then these minions actually, the mini horde ends up getting in the way. So what I did there is, once again, I take damage on the other side, and then I'm putting so much pressure, I'm killing all of his troops on the left side that he's forced to defend even harder. And then I log the right side. I take a lot of damage, but that tower was healthier than the one on the left, and that was a dumb fireball. But anyway, it ends up working out, and I win. So despite a huge deficit, this is a matchup I should win regardless. But despite misplaying often in the early game, the choices I made in terms of elixir management brought me back in the game late game, because generally when you get down, I was down like 10 elixir, it's going to lose you the game. But if you manage it right and think about what you're doing, you can still win. And this deck should have been a hard counter, so lots of pressure. I don't really have a way to stop Bandit too well behind a Golem. I don't have a great way to stop Night Witch, Minion Horde or whatever, but I don't have poison, so that's a little bit of a thing. And then also, this deck is not that great at taking out Inferno Dragon against your Giant. So generally, when you face Inferno Dragon decks, you want to do more damage with your Miner and minions counter pushing. But if you can get minions behind a Giant and then zap, sometimes that works. It doesn't always. Just depends on what their deck is, what the rest of if they have any other AoE. But anyway, it's Golem versus Giant. He has Pump. This is the matchup he should have won. And he has Inferno Dragon. Like, this matchup is not good for Giant, especially when he has Fireball. It'd be worse if he had Poison, maybe. But anyway, tough matchup. But you're going to see me punish Pumps the same way I said. So Giant at the bridge, and then minions. You want to punish him as hard as possible. He goes Inferno Dragon. And then I'm going to time it just right so that I can zap the Inferno Dragon. If he had zapped my minions, it would actually have been really good for me, because then he would have wasted more elixir and wouldn't have been able to deal with that earlier. He ends up having to use it afterwards. But like I said, and always put your Miner like in a position to where once the pump is dead, it'll go to the tower. Don't put it like right next to the King Tower, because if it kills the pump, then it'll activate King Tower. That's always bad. So right here, I decided to go Minion Horde, because Minion Horde will counter push. If I had fireballed that push, it would have been 1 elixir less, but he wouldn't have had to defend this. So right here, he's either going to have to defend, which he does, or he'd ignore it and take a lot of damage. So you always want to try to use troops when it's not necessary to fireball. And that's what I do there. And he ends up wasting 3 elixir. I take the damage, and that is a positive 2 elixir trade in the grand scheme of things, as opposed to if I had fireballed that push. While it wasn't a bad fireball, it made more sense for me to deny the damage with Minion Horde there. And then I knew he had Inferno Dragon as his main killer, so when he played at the back, I instantly go Giant Minions opposite lane. And my Night Witch, left alone, actually does a lot of damage to an Inferno Dragon. The bats do quite a bit of DPS. And in the meantime, my Giant is doing a really good job. So against Golem, what you have to try to do is you have to do opposite lane pressure. So if he did play a Golem, I would instantly pressure opposite lane. I'm here pressuring him. I'm not allowing him to build up a big push, because if he ever builds up a big push and goes into your big push, you are going to lose, like, for sure. And then when I saw the cards that he had in his deck in addition to Pump, if they have these sort of cards like Bandit and Night Witch, you know it's Golem. So I knew that going into it. He is finally getting a bit of an elixir lead, and I'm not able to punish the way I want to, which is fine. So like I said, you don't want to play into the Golem. So what I did here was I went Giant opposite lane, and I just wanted to see if I could get him to commit any elixir at all to the left side. And he ends up using this Mega Minion that then goes there. But my thought, I don't know, I think minions maybe were a bad idea. I think I should have just gone Giant. The purpose was finishing off the tower and then actually killing the pump. So he actually kind of makes use of the elixir. But right here, this is a really good opportunity for me to fireball. I knock the bed backwards. My Minion Horde helps distract the Inferno Dragon, keeping it at the bridge, and then also taking care of the Night Witch. So those minions good. Once again, got the minions distracting and finally killing the Inferno Dragon. And then yeah, Minion Horde is just doing is gonna be good. So I decided to fireball this. Not a good, I mean kind of a good fireball. Instead of going fireball, I think I should have got a minion horde. Because if I had gone minion horde, I would have had counter pusher troops that would have killed the push as well. I thought I could save the tower, but I was wrong. So anyway, okay. So this is a conscious decision. So when he fireballed offensively, I instantly thought I want to go giant mini horde. But Inferno Dragon would have taken my tower. So first I go minion horde on the Inferno Dragon, and then I go giant in the middle, minions behind it. I know he doesn't have fireball. By the time he does get back to fireball, I've already got a miner on the tower. Giant's gotten hits, and that is enough to take the game against a deck that is probably a really tough matchup in my opinion if he had played a little bit better. I did a good job though in that match. So. And then finally, this is kind of weird. So in ways we counter each other. I have a lot of Spellbait counters, but I don't have a lot of Mega Knight counters. I don't have a great way to distract Mega Knight. A Giant, kind of. Night Witch, kind of. Not like, there's no Ice Golem, no Ice Spirit, no Goblin Gang. Nothing that's like amazing at distracting. And then he also has arrows and Princess, which makes it hard for my minions to do too much. But I'll show you how this match goes. He played this pretty well. This is a good player. But I think it does favor me a little bit more than it favors him. Arrows made it a pain. So I started the game with minion horde in defense there because I wanted to counter push. Usually when that was a terrible zap by me. But yeah, so I found out his arrows. I thought this was normal spell bait at first, and I ended up using log there because arrows were out of rotation. So I know if I needed to, I could use minions to destroy Goblin Barrel or minion horde again. So I knew that I was safe to defend with minions. That's why I went ahead and just logged that away because I didn't want to have to deal with it. Fireball that out. I didn't really have anything else I needed to play at the time, so fireball's fine. It's a little bit of damage. End up taking 2 goblin stabs. Gonna miner in front of this again to pressure. This time I'm gonna be ready to zap. Get quite a bit of damage, and then also because my zap killed the spirit goblins, I'm actually able to use those minions to take out the rest of that push. He goes Princess at the bridge. I had used Night Witch because I wanted to stagger the bats, keep them away from the tower. I thought he was gonna go Goblin Barrel. He ends up going it now. I have a log in rotation. It took me, because of the delay, it actually allowed them to get a single hit. But probably a good Goblin Barrel for him to force that log because he knew that he wanted to use Goblin Gang to defend my Giant. So very well played by Super there. I am able to get back to minions. I did get some Giant hits as well, so that was nice. But yeah, whenever you have a counter pushing Night Witch from defense, always try to get Giant in front of her if they don't have P.E.K.K.A. or something like that. Because she's just so good behind a Giant. And then I'm just going miner for some chip right here. I want to go ahead and fireball. I don't want to allow any damage, and I know that I have ways to deal with his other offensive troops. At this time I didn't know he had Mega Knight, but still. That was really good spacing by him to keep his bats away from the zap on his Goblin Gang. Well played. And I am able to take out the Princess there. I had already channeled up the zap. I waited like an extra second to zap the bats, and then I'm like, oh, he won't do it again. And then he did, and I was like, dang it. So my zap ended up not getting as much value as it could have. So at this point, so I'm gonna go ahead and fireball here. I think, yeah, I fireball because that would leave. If I fireball there instead of zapping, it kills off the goblins faster, and then it allows me to allows the bats to die to the tower. So that was my thought process. He actually goes offensive here. He arrows, but it was a little bit late, so that was nice. Right here, I positioned my minions so that now that his arrow's out of hand, he can't do anything about that. I decided to go ahead and log because then I knew I would be able to. So I logged there because I knew I would get a lot of damage. I would get rid of the Goblin Gang, and then I'm able to zap the bat. So I took an offensive risk so that I was able to get more damage. I used offensively. Anyway, I'm going to go high Night Witch, minions at the back. If he arrows them, that's perfect because, yes, I'll take more damage, but then I can instantly go minion horde behind my Giant. So he decides not to arrow, and that was fine for me. And then I end up winning with that giant on the other side. But I defended well. I drew the Mega Knight into the opposite lane so that if he did have to jump again, it would be to my giant. And then in the meantime, I had minions at the back instead of minion horde. If he had arrowed them, it would have been okay. I would have just finished killing the Mega Knight and then zapped the Goblin Barrel. That tower had taken less damage, so I wasn't worried about taking damage. And then I could have gone in opposite lane, but either way, win the game. And that wasn't too many replays, so I'll play 1 or 2 games. Starts in 5 hours. Oh yeah, I'll probably make a video on that maybe. Elite challenge. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, I can go ahead and do a couple matches here for you guys. Kind of talk you through it as I'm playing, as I always do. Alright. I didn't have... I guess I could have gotten minions. Yeah, I probably should have gotten minions, but... You don't really want to start giant at the back of the beginning of the game, so I just split minions. I wasn't expecting him to play so fast. I don't really want to start giant at the back, but my hand's bad. Night Witch would have been favorable, I think. Or I would have preferred to do Night Witch. Okay. That's perfect. He went 6 elixir in offense. I defended with 5, and then he fireballed. So he's like really far behind right now. So I'm going Miner in front so that the Inferno Dragon, and I'm going to zap as well, but the Inferno Dragon is targeting the Miner instead of the Giant, and then it's going to allow the Giant to get so many hits off. And I think my bats are actually going to finish off the Inferno Dragon before the Giant dies. Almost. He ends up zapping, but perfect. So he went, so yeah, okay, so Fireball, obviously not a bad idea on Minion Horde. But I defended with 5 elixir. He committed 4, 6, and then 4 more. So 10 elixir for 5, and that gives me a 5 elixir lead. I already have a giant going. I mean a Night Witch, so I'm able to commit so much there. He's gonna miss some. He's gonna he's gonna miss a lot more than some. Okay. Anyway, I was taking advantage of the elixir, and I knew that I could go all in. And also, instead of defending with Night Witch, which is usually not a bad idea versus Hog, I defended with Minion Horde because Minion Horde baits out spells more often, as it obviously did. And then Night Witch also way better behind a Giant than a Minion Horde because you just fireball the Giant. So anyway, it worked out really well. It was better there to defend with Minion Horde if possible in that scenario. If they use like Ice Golem in front of a Hog, make sure you get the Minion Horde away from the Ice Golem. Because otherwise they'll Ice Golem zap and you'll be screwed. Just in general when you're defending Hogs with Minion Horde. Okay. So possibly Spellbait, possibly Lava Hound, a few other things. Possibly a different variation of this deck. Oh, it could be a 3 Musk. Yeah, dang it! I should have went minions. Okay. Okay, there goes his elixir lead. I'm not so sure about that. Okay, so like I said, against this deck, to punish pumps, you don't want to use Night Witch. Okay, if we go through the exact same process that we just did, yeah, he's gonna lose. That is not gonna work well for you. There's a delay when troops first come out where they can't attack, so that's always gonna work in my favor if he has to use Minion Horde to defend Minion Horde. The best he can do is try to pull it opposite lane, but even then, it'll turn out well for me. So, like I said, don't use Night Witch if they're using this 3 Must deck. You want to use something that'll kill Minion Horde, because otherwise Minion Horde gets way too much value. Okay. Wait, 229. Yeah, this is enough. I was like, maths. No, I'm really good on like 2-spell combos, but yeah, if that hadn't been enough, I may have just lost myself the game because I was gonna be so far behind in Elixir. But Fireball does 229, Log does 96, and Zap does 64. So I'm like 229 plus 96. That's already like 320 plus 64. That's like 380. So I had about 20 or 30 damage to spare. So let's go ahead and do one more. I didn't expect a 3 crown. Prodigy from the Aztec Warriors. Alright, this hand sucks. I always like to have Giant or Minor in hand. For pumps mainly. Oh, okay. What is he? Why do you have fireball arrows in an Expo deck? What? I'm shooketh. I have Giant, so I should still be okay. Fire? No one. You take Log. Expo is so good with Log. Why would you have fireball arrows? That makes no sense to me. Oh yeah, bat. Get a swing in. Yeah, there. Those are my girls right there. Bats OP. I don't want to put them back at the tower because then I just give them spell value. That minion. I mean that Mega Minion will die to tower. Interesting. Okay. No arrows, which is fine. I just need to have the right rotation, mainly. If he fireballs this, I don't really care. Okay. Now, oh, he didn't go Inferno Tower. Weird. Now Giant will get swings. Kill the Mega Minion. Alright, go ahead and log so I can put things on top of the Expo. I mean, Giant still counters Expo, but like, fireball arrows, that's rough, man. He'll just arrows. Or fireball, okay. I didn't remember what his rotation was because the game's over. Or didn't memorize. Fireball arrows in Expo, that's really weird. To be fair, he also had Inferno Tower and he decided not to use it that one push for some reason. Maybe he was behind an Elixir. Does he have 77 out of 78 cards found? Maybe he doesn't. Wait. Oh, he had Log too. What? Fireball arrows Log. Okay. Good thing I didn't have Goblin Gang. If I would have had Goblin Gang instead of another spell, I actually probably would have lost. That's a lot of wins though. I guess we'll end it on that one. Thank you guys for watching. I like it. I hope you like my little outro that I have now. I think it looks pretty cool. Yusuf made that. Yusuf also made Yusuf Omar on Twitter also made the thumbnail for this video and helped me out with Photoshop a while back. So thank you for watching, and I hopefully will see you guys very soon. Peace.